If you're researching river cruises and trying to decide between a classic itinerary and spending more time in Europe's major cities, AmaWaterways recently introduced something new called City Escapes. In this episode, I'll explain what these cruises are, how they're different from traditional river cruises, and who they may be best suited for. Most people picture a river cruise as moving from one charming town to the next almost every day. City escapes take a slightly different approach. These itineraries focus more on Europe's major cultural cities, with longer time in port and more opportunities to explore destinations like Paris, Vienna, Amsterdam, or Budapest. AmaWaterways designed these sailings specifically to encourage travel during the quieter months in Europe, when there are fewer crowds and cities often have a very different atmosphere compared to peak summer travel. The first City Escapes departures begin in November 2026, and the program will continue in future seasons, including February and November sailings in 2027 and 2028. Now, let's look at what makes these itineraries different from a traditional river cruise. One of the biggest differences is the focus on experiences off the ship. AmaWaterways has introduced special dinners ashore in unique venues, designed to immerse guests more deeply in the destination. Another change relates to the onboard beverage experience. For the first time on these itineraries, beverages are available throughout the day, which is a change from the traditional AmaWaterways format, where wine and beer are typically included during meals. This also includes options for guests who prefer non-alcoholic beverages, such as mocktails. In a moment, I'll also explain who these cruises are really best for, because they're not necessarily the right fit for every traveler considering a river cruise. But first, let's take a look at the itineraries themselves. AmaWaterways has introduced city escapes on 3 major rivers in Europe. On the Seine River, there is a 7-night itinerary called Paris and the Seine, with extended time in Paris. On the Rhine River, there are 2 options: Amsterdam on the Rhine, sailing from Amsterdam to Basel, and Strasbourg and the Rhine, sailing from Basel to Amsterdam. And on the Danube River, there is the Vienna and the Danube itinerary, sailing between Vienna and Budapest. All of these are 7-night cruises, but with a schedule designed to allow more time in the major cities along the route. Shore excursions are still included, just as they are on other AmaWaterways cruises. Guests will still find guided tours, walking excursions, and bike rides, but these itineraries also introduce more museum visits and cultural experiences within the cities themselves. Another feature connected to these cruises is a new 3-night land extension in London. This extension can be added before or after certain city escape sailings. Travel between Paris and London is planned via the Eurostar train, and the stay includes accommodations in a luxury hotel in the Belgravia area of London. So who are these itineraries really best suited for? City escapes may appeal to travelers who enjoy spending more time in major cultural cities, rather than moving to a different small town every day. They may also be interesting for travelers who have already taken a traditional river cruise and would like to experience these rivers from a slightly different perspective. And because these sailings take place during less crowded times of year, they may also appeal to travelers who prefer visiting Europe outside the peak travel season. So overall, city escapes aren't meant to replace the classic river cruise itineraries. Instead, they offer a different style of river travel, focused more on urban destinations, cultural venues, and immersive experiences within Europe's great cities. If you're researching river cruises and trying to decide which itinerary might make the most sense for your trip, feel free to reach out. You can email me at info@sevenheaventravel.com or visit sevenheaventravel.com for more information. I work with many travelers planning AmaWaterways cruises, and I'm always happy to help walk through the options. And if you're comparing different rivers or itineraries, I also have other episodes on the channel that explain the differences between some of the major European river cruises, which can be helpful when you're deciding where to start.